What's up, BookTube? Welcome back. My name is Laura if you're new here, and today I'm talking about some queer anthologies on my TBR. Okay, I'm very happy that I'm managing to get out at least 2 videos for Pride Month, despite the fact that I'm in a huge filming slump right now and I'm just really not in the mood to film anything. So, like, I have a whole list of video ideas, but I just, like, haven't been in the mood to actually, like, sit down and film things or, like, stand up, I guess. You know what I mean. But, like, it's Pride Month, and I really wanted to contribute to all of the wonderfully queer content coming out this month. So I did a video recently on some queer mermaid stories, and today's video is all about some queer anthologies. Anthologies are really hard for me to try and summarize, so there's going to be a lot of, like, reading from Goodreads today, but I love anthologies. I think they're so much fun. It's a great way to sample a bunch of different authors and like get a taste for their writing, as well as just have like a whole bunch of like wonderfully diverse stories in one big collection. It's fantastic. I have 11 books to talk about today, so I'm just going to stop rambling and get right into it. The first book on this list is Curves and Magic, and this one is a fantasy anthology centering mostly plus-sized heroes and heroines. Like, first of all, I am obsessed with this cover. It is so beautiful, and then also the tagline on Goodreads is so good. It says, "An elf stands on the battlefield ready to strike. A fey prince falls for his mortal enemy. Whether this collection of stories takes you for a journey through a magical landscape or brings a creature from a distant land to your doorstep, you won't be left wanting for magic and excitement. Strong women, big swords, epic adventures, and beautiful love stories come together in this fantasy book with femme fatales who look just like you." It sounds so fun. I can't wait to get to this book. It's been on my TBR for a hot minute now, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And this one is also a new release. It came out, I think, in March, and it doesn't have too many reviews so far. There are only 57 ratings, but of those, it has a 4.42 average rating so far, so apparently it's pretty good. But yeah, I can't wait to get to this one. Next up is Love Beyond Body, Space, and Time. This one is a sci-fi and urban fantasy anthology centering on Indigenous, LGBT, and Two-Spirit characters. Again, the cover, the colors are so pretty. I think the last time I talked about this book, I was wondering if it was like in connection with one called Love After the End, I think it was called, which is also a sci-fi anthology featuring Two-Spirit and LGBT Indigenous people. I think they're like companion books, I'm not entirely sure, but like they have similar names and very similar concepts, so I'm assuming so. But like the one that I read earlier this year was fantastic, so like if they are in connection with each other, then I'm assuming that this one is going to be as well. I really want to read more stories from Indigenous authors. I love their like style of storytelling, especially when it comes to sci-fi, so I think I'm going to really enjoy this one. Next up is Power and Magic, the Queer Witch Comics Anthology. This one is a graphic novel anthology all about witches of color, and again, the cover, I like, you know, I'm gonna say it for each and every book, but like this cover is so beautiful. I love the colors in it. It looks so like ethereal and just so beautiful. I am obsessed with it, and like I love graphic novels as well, and also like it's witches, so obviously I'm going to like it. And then we've got No Man, a Woman Born by Anna Mardoll. Again, the cover, I love it. It's so pretty. And this one is a collection of 7 fantasy stories in which transgender and non-binary characters subvert and fulfill gendered prophecies. These prophecies recognize and acknowledge each character's gender even when others do not. So that just sounds wonderful. It kind of reminds me of the one character in the We Were Children series. I can't think of his name right now. Cade, I think it is. His whole backstory reminds me of this anthology, so I think I'm going to love it. I can't wait to get to this one. Next up is Heartwood, Non-Binary Tales of Sylvan Fantasy. Again, I know I keep saying it, but the cover is so freaking beautiful. I can't get over it. It's gorgeous. This looks like it should be like a Ghibli movie cover. Like, it's so beautiful. And this one is apparently the first ever non-binary comic anthology made entirely by a team of non-binary cartoonists. That warms my heart so much. I'm just so happy that things like this exist now. And it's also a like folklore and fairy tale kind of thing, so like I know I'm going to adore this book. Next up is Unspeakable, a queer Gothic anthology. The cover, I really can't help myself. I'm a Libra, okay? I like pretty things. But Unspeakable contains 18 Gothic tales with uncanny twists and characters that creep under your skin. We've got sapphic ghosts, terrifying creatures of the sea, and haunted houses concealing their own secrets. And this is really funny. It says whether you're looking for your non-binary knight in shining armor or a poly family to murder with, Unspeakable showcases the best contemporary Gothic queer short fiction. Even dark tales deserve their time in the sun. This sounds so cute. I love Gothic fiction as well, and like this just sounds like it's going to be such a fun time. And there's some pretty good authors on here as well, so again, can't wait to get to this one. Okay, and then we have one of the most beautiful covers that I've ever seen in my entire life, and that one is A Phoenix First Must Burn. And this one is 16 tales by best-selling and award-winning authors that explore the Black experience through fantasy, science fiction, and magic. And this one is an anthology that ranges from folk tales to dystopian sci-fi and everything in between and outside of that. This sounds amazing. This one has been on several TBRs, and I just keep not reading it for some reason. I don't know why I haven't yet, but I really want to. It looks so good. And this next one, I forgot, actually has a companion novel to it, so I'm now showing you guys 12 books today instead of 11, but these ones are all out, the no longer secret stories of queer teens throughout the ages, as well as Out Now, Queer We Go Again. And these two anthologies have some of the most popular authors in YA fantasy all coming together to make these wonderful anthologies all about queer teens throughout all of history. These sound like so much fun and such a good time. Once again, I've been wanting to read both of these books for so friggin' long, and I just haven't gotten to them yet. The All Out one I actually had on my TBR before it was published, and I was so highly anticipating it, and yet it has not made it to my TBR yet. So at some point these will get read. Next up is the Tangleroot Palace by Marjorie M. Liu. This is the author of the Monstrous series. The cover. Look at this cover, it's so beautiful. Oh my god, I'm obsessed with it. But this one is another graphic novel anthology, and again written by the author of the Monstrous series, which is so popular and looks amazing. I know that series has a lot of body horror in it, which is why I haven't read it, so I'm hoping this one won't have a lot of that because I can't handle that. But this is apparently a collection of dark, lush, and spellbinding short fiction with unexpected detours, dangerous magic, and even more dangerous women. So love that already. Another gorgeous cover. We've got Reclaim the Stars, 17 Tales Across Realms and Space, and this anthology features 17 sci-fi and fantasy stories, all from some of the most popular Latin American authors. This one says it takes the Latin American diaspora to places fantastical and out of this world, from princesses warring in space to the all too near devastation of climate change to haunting ghost stories in Argentina and mermaids off the coast of the Caribbean. This is sci-fi and fantasy that breaks borders and realms and proves that stories are truly universal. This sounds so good. This one just came out in February and I've heard some amazing things about it. I want to get to this book like right now. It sounds so good. And finally, the last book on this list is The Way Spring Arrived and Other Stories, a collection of Chinese sci-fi and fantasy in translation from a visionary team of female and non-binary creators. That is quite the mouthful. But yeah, so this anthology is written entirely by female and non-binary authors, and they are all sci-fi and fantasy stories translated from Chinese. And as the title says, the entire team of all the authors and translators and like everybody involved in the process are all either female or non-binary, which is just amazing. This one is also a new release. It just came out in March, I think it was, and it sounds so good. And again, I've heard some amazing things about it, so I can't wait to get to this one. I know that I'm going to just die for it once I finally get to it. Alright, so those are all of the queer anthologies that are on my TBR. If you have any more to add to this list, feel free to leave them down below. I would love to add more to my TBR. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!